Most people have absolutely no idea that their energy is destroying their life. And the scary part, it's happening in ways that feel completely normal. You think that energy work is only meditation, journal, affirmations, healing crystals, but then you spend hours scrolling on social media through the negativity, criticizing people online, gossiping, consuming drama, arguing in the comment section, replaying resentments in your head. And then you wonder why you feel anxious, drained, stuck, unlucky, emotionally heavy, and unable to become the version of yourself you're trying so hard to manifest. Every single thing that you engage with is training your subconscious mind. Every conversation, every thought pattern, every reaction, every piece of content that you consume. Most people are living in a constant state of energetic inflammation and don't even realize it. And because of that, they keep attracting the same painful cycles, the same draining relationships, the same emotional chaos, the same anxiety, the same unavailable people, the same situations that leave them exhausted. Different faces, same energy, same reality. And if you're someone who keeps saying, why does this always happen to me? Or why can't I ever evolve into the version of me I know that I'm meant to be? This video is probably going to explain to you why. Because energy protection is not just good vibes. It's self-respect, it's boundaries, it's nervous system regulation. It's deciding that your mind, emotions, attentions, and frequency are too valuable to be handing it over to chaos. Protecting your energy is one of the highest forms of self-love that a person can practice. And no, this is not about being fake nice. This is not about suppressing emotions. And this is definitely not about pretending that negativity doesn't exist. This is about understanding that your reality mirrors your internal state. Meaning that if your energy is reactive, cluttered, emotionally drained, and constantly overstimulated, your reality will continue reflecting that back to you in your relationships, your opportunities, your emotions, your habits, your self-concept, your entire life. So in this video, I'm going to break down the hidden ways people destroy that energy every single day of their life without realizing it, how that's keeping them trapped in the old timeline and repeating cycles, and how to finally protect your energy in a way that actually changes your life. One of the biggest forms of energy protection is learning that not everyone deserves a reaction from you. Standing up for yourself should be reserved for people who are actually permanent in your life. Because arguing with a stranger is one of the biggest energy leaks imaginable. And it doesn't matter if they were rude, if they disrespected you, even if they were completely wrong. The moment that you react emotionally, now you're energetically tied to that situation. What could have been a 30-second interaction suddenly becomes a ruined mood, an overstimulated nervous system. Hours of replaying that situation in your mind, ranting about it to your closest friends or your siblings, thinking about what you could have said, imagining fake arguments in the shower, all because some random person triggered your ego for a moment. And this is where people confuse ego with self-respect. Because a lot of people will hear this and say, no, I have to say something. I have to put them in their place. No, they don't. Most disrespectful people are not operating from emotional intelligence. They are operating from projection, pain, immaturity, insecurity, chaos. You're not going to heal them in the parking lot through an argument. You're not going to awaken them in the TikTok comment section. You're not going to change them by matching their energy. And a lot of the time, reaction is not power. It's emotional impulsiveness, disguised as strength. Real power is being able to stay calm when someone is trying to pull you out of character. Real power is regulating yourself enough to walk away. Because protecting your peace is far more important than winning temporary battles in the parking lot with temporary people. That is energy protection. It's choosing, not emotional residue. No spiraling, no chaos sitting in your nervous system for the rest of the day. And remember, this is not about doing the other person a favor. This is about you. Why would you let someone who disrespected you continue having access to your mind hours after the interaction has already ended? Like, absolutely not. Now, obviously, this doesn't apply to important relationships. If it's your partner, your family member, your parents, your close friends, your boss, someone that you constantly interact with, then yes, that is when you communicate. Stand up for yourself. Have the uncomfortable conversations. Because healthy relationships require honesty, boundaries, and mutual understanding. Those conversations have the potential to improve your quality of life long term. But random negative people from the street, they should not have the power to hijack your entire day. When you truly master this ability, that not everyone deserves a reaction from you, you become calmer, more emotionally regulated, harder to manipulate, harder to trigger, and honestly a much happier person. Unprotected unprotected energy keeps you in reaction mode. Protected energy keeps you in power. This next one is very important. Rehashing negative experiences. And this one changed my life because people don't realize how energetically restrictive it is to constantly relive negativity out loud. And it's so normalized. Something annoying happens and immediately you want to text your bestie or your sister, "Oh my god, you won't believe what just happened to me." Then you retell the whole story, every detail, every emotion, every frustrating moment, the rude Starbucks worker, the awkward interaction, the drama, the argument, the weird energy that you caught back there, that one person acting crazy in traffic, and what was originally a tiny moment suddenly becomes something that you're emotionally reliving every few hours. Now your nervous system is re-experiencing it all over again. Your mind is replaying it. Your emotions are reinforcing it. And your subconscious is absorbing it all over again. Most people think that they're just venting. "I'm just trying to tell her the chisme." But energetically, you're deepening the experience. Every time that you retell a negative story, you're replanting that story in your subconscious mind. You're reinforcing the emotional state connected to it. And that's exactly why some people stay stuck in cycles of chaos, drama, negativity, emotional exhaustion, because they keep feeding that energy back into the very thing that they actually want to escape. Your mind doesn't know the difference between something happening now and something vividly replayed emotionally, which means that every time that you rehash a negativity, your body experiences it again. And then people wonder why they feel heavy, anxious, drained, emotionally overstimulated, and stuck. You cannot constantly entertain low frequency conversations and expect to feel aligned. You cannot constantly rehash negativity and expect to manifest peace. And let's be honest, your higher self would never move like that. The version of you that's living your dream life, she's not spending hours replaying irritating interactions and emotionally attaching herself to chaos. She protects her mind. She protects her nervous system. She protects her attention because she understands where attention goes, energy flows. Now, obviously, this doesn't mean suppressing emotions or never talking about your experiences. Healthy processing is important, but there's a massive difference between processing something internally and emotionally recycling negativity for entertainment, for content, validation, or over identification. One creates healing, the other keeps the wound alive. And the moment that you decide this situation does not deserve access to my energy anymore, that's when you cut the energetic cord. You do the cord cutting. That's when you stop carrying emotional residue from temporary experiences. That's when you begin to quantum leap calmer, more regulated, more abundant version of yourself, because protected energy creates a protected reality. And your higher self, she's too focused on her peace, purpose, abundance, and fulfillment to keep emotionally reliving things that no longer matter. This is how you stop absorbing the energy of other people around you. And I know that this might sound weird at first or too woo-woo, but stay with me because this genuinely changed my life. Whenever you choose to leave your home, go online, or enter a crowded space, walk into work, hopping onto social media, whatever, I want you to do a protection bubble on yourself and have that protection bubble surround your entire body like a shield, boundary, an energetic filter. And again, the reason why this works is because your brain cannot fully distinguish between a vividly imagined experience and a real one. Meaning, when you're constantly visualizing yourself being protected, your subconscious mind begins to believe, I am safe, I am grounded, I have boundaries. Not everyone has access to me. And over time, your nervous system starts responding differently to external chaos. You stop absorbing everything like a sponge because most people walk through life unconsciously, absorbing other people's projections, gossip, fear, judgment, negativity, drama, limiting beliefs, social media conditioning, and they don't even realize it that it's shaping their identity. They hear enough people criticize confidence, so they become afraid to be seen. They hear enough people judge success, so they subconsciously feel guilty for wanting more. They hear negativity around relationships, money, beauty, social media, visibility, femininity, confidence, and eventually those beliefs start living in their mind. This is how people unknowingly block themselves from evolving, not because the beliefs were true, but because they absorbed them repeatedly. This is why energetic protection matters so much, because you cannot become your higher self while constantly internalizing limitations of everybody around you. And this visualization helps your mind, trains to stop absorbing everything automatically. Now, this doesn't mean isolating yourself from life or pretending negativity doesn't exist. You will still hear things, you will still see chaos, you will still encounter difficult people, but instead of absorbing it, observe it. That's the difference. You become a mirror instead of a sponge. You reflect energy instead of storing it in your nervous system. And whenever something negative happens, ask yourself, is this actually about me, or is is this a reflection of this person's internal chaos? Because most of the time, people project what they carry internally. So you do not need to emotionally attach yourself to every piece of energy that you encounter. You can just simply witness it and let it pass through you like a moving car without giving it a home inside of you. That's what true energetic protection is. Not becoming cold, not becoming disconnected, becoming emotionally sovereign, protected, grounded, unbothered. You observe, you do not absorb. And I want you to be extremely careful with what you repeatedly speak about, because your words are not harmless. Your words shape your identity, your nervous system, your subconscious mind, and eventually your reality. Most people speak so carelessly, complaining constantly, criticizing constantly, consuming negativity constantly, talking about drama constantly, and then wondering why they feel so emotionally heavy, bitter, anxious, cynical, exhausted, or stuck. Now, let me clarify something. There's a massive difference between raising awareness and entertaining negativity. Some conversations absolutely matter. Real injustice, real abuse, real harm, real global issues. Those things do deserve awareness, discussion, and action. But that is very different from endlessly participating in outrage culture, influencer drama, gossip cycles, hate trains, and negativity for entertainment. Because social media has normalized emotional chaos. Every week there's a new person to hate, a new controversy, a new cancellation, a new thing that everybody suddenly has an opinion on. And people keep engaging because outrage gets attention, views, clicks, and validation. Social media has convinced people that every thought deserves to be a piece of content. But what most people don't realize, every single thing that you repeatedly speak about becomes a deeper subconscious belief. Your mind is always listening. So when you constantly say things like, men are trash, people are horrible, this world sucks, nobody supports me, everything is so hard, I hate my life, I'm exhausted, I'm so broke. Even if you're saying it jokingly, like, oh no, it's just a joke, Mar. Your subconscious still records it because your nervous system responds to repetition, and eventually your brain starts filtering reality through those beliefs. Then you suddenly notice more negativity, more evidence, more struggle, more reasons to complain, more situations confirming the identity you keep reinforcing. That's how people unconsciously trap themselves into cycles. One of the biggest shifts in my own life was becoming extremely intentional about what I consume, what I engage with, and what I choose to speak about. Now, before I click onto something or before I watch something, before I participate in a conversation, I ask myself, is this beneficial to my energy? That question alone can change everything for you, because protecting your energy always means protecting your mind from becoming addicted to negativity. And this is why I always kind of like when people say, oh, but I'm not a hater, but, and then you immediately start criticizing someone. No, you're reinforcing the energy of criticism inside of yourself. Again, this is not about being fake positive. It is not about pretending that negativity doesn't exist. This is about understanding that every repeated thought, word, and emotional pattern is shaping who you become. So if you want to evolve, if you want peace, you want abundance, if you want a healthier self-concept, you have to stop feeding identities you no longer want to embody. Because the person you become is built through what you repeatedly consume, feel, speak, and entertain. So protect your mind accordingly. Next one is to stop chasing, stop rushing, stop living your entire life like it's an emergency. Because one of the biggest energy leaks is constantly operating from survival mode. Waking up stressed, running late, thinking about the 15 plus things that you have to do for the day, scrolling while you're eating, replying to texts while you're working out, trying to relax during your meditation while you're rehearsing your to-do list, always rushing, always overstimulated, always emotionally elsewhere. And the problem is, most people have become so addicted to stress that they mistake it for productivity. But your dream life is not made from frantic energy. Protected energy is calm, grounded, stable, present. One of the hardest truths that I had to learn in this, your dream life does not require for you to destroy yourself to deserve it. A lot of overworking, hustling, rushing, and overextending yourself is rooted in unworthiness. It's the subconscious belief of, I have to earn rest. And I had this. I have to suffer before I have happiness. I have to constantly prove my value. I can't slow down, otherwise everything's going to fall apart. This is not abundance. This is survival mode. And when you constantly operate from panic, force, urgency, and exhaustion, you are teaching your nervous system that life is unsafe. You are constantly signaling, I don't trust my life. I don't don't trust the timing. I don't trust myself. I don't trust things working out for me unless I force them. And then people wonder why they keep attracting more stress, more chaos, more pressure, and more anxiety into their realities. Because your external life eventually mirrors your internal state. I have a whole video on this alone, and I can leave it right here for you. This is why slowing down is actually a form of energetic protection. Rest is energetic protection. Presence is energetic protection. Peace is energetic protection. And no, this doesn't mean becoming lazy or unproductive or unmotivated. It means learning how to create from regulation instead of survival. Because the most magnetic people are usually not the most frantic people. They're the people who feel grounded in themselves. The people who trust. The people who move intentionally. The people who are emotionally available for peace. And this is why the phrase of when you stop chasing, you start attracting is so powerful. Because chasing energy says, I don't have it yet. I'm behind. I'm lacking. I'm desperate. But grounded energy says, what is meant for me is already unfolding. It's done. Complete. I trust myself. It's already unfolding in divine timing. I do not need to abandon myself to receive abundance. When you stop living in constant urgency, your nervous system finally has time to breathe. That's when the clarity comes. That's when creativity comes. That's when your intuition gets louder. That's when your life starts to feel aligned again. Because protected energy is not rushed energy. Protected energy is peaceful. Now you want to curate your consumption carefully. Because every time that you scroll, you're casting energetic votes with your attention. And most people have absolutely no idea how deeply social media is programming their subconscious mind. That harmless little scroll just before bed, the gossip videos, the outrage content, the celebrity drama, the negativity, the comparison, the toxic podcasts, the constant criticism. It's not just entertainment. It is conditioning because your nervous system does not fully separate this is just content from this is my reality. Your brain absorbs repeated exposure as truth. So the things you constantly consume start becoming your worldview, your emotional baseline, your expectations, your beliefs, your fears, your identity. And this is why social media is affecting people so deeply psychologically, because people are unknowingly training themselves into anxiety, insecurity, comparison, fear, criticism, and emotional exhaustion every single day. Your algorithm is not neutral, it's a mirror. It reflects back whatever you repeatedly engage with. So if you constantly interact with drama, outrage, criticism, gossip, negativity, fear-based content, and people tearing down others in the gossip, your mind starts believing this is what the world is. This is how people are. This is what life feels like. And eventually, that energy starts shaping your behavior. This is exactly why so many people have that fear of being seen online. People saying posting is cringe, I could never do that, people are too judgmental. But most of the time, those beliefs were absorbed. Repeatedly hearing insecure people criticize visibility, confidence, success, femininity, creativity, ambition, or self-expression eventually become internalized as if I shine too brightly, I will be judged too. That's how people unconsciously shrink themselves. Not because those beliefs were true, but because they consumed them repeatedly. What you consume, you become. So one of the biggest energetic protections to this is becoming ruthless about who gets access to your attention. Mute things, block certain accounts, click the not interested, or take a break altogether. Curate your feed intentionally. And I do this constantly because your feed eventually becomes your future. Because if you feed it filled with fear, chaos, comparison, criticism, and negativity, your mind starts adapting to that emotional environment. But if you feed it with inspiration, growth, art, beauty, motivation, healing, confidence, creativity, business, expansion, possibility, your nervous system starts normalizing those emotions instead. And people don't realize this, but every video you consume is somebody else's mindset, mood, trauma, projection, belief system, and emotional state entering your subconscious mind. Which means protecting your energy also means protecting what has repeated access to your brain. Because eventually all those little decisions build your identity. And most self-sabotage doesn't happen in one massive moment. It happens slowly through repeated exposure. So this week, before every decision you make, ask yourself, does this benefit my energy? Before watching something, before texting with someone, before arguing, before consuming content, before participating in negativity. And if the answer is no, walk away. Protect your peace, protect your attention, protect your mind, and watch how much lighter your life starts feeling. And that brings us to the end of this video. This conversation means so much to me because energy protection genuinely changed my entire life. Not overnight, not perfectly, but slowly, consistently, and intentionally. And I can honestly say that protecting my energy changed the the way I feel, the way I think, the people that I attract, the decisions that I make, my nervous system, my confidence, my peace, and ultimately my reality. Because once you stop constantly feeding chaos, negativity, overstimulation, emotional reactivity, and survival mode, you finally create space for yourself to hear you again. Your intuition gets louder, your mind gets clearer, your emotions become lighter, your life starts feeling more aligned. And no, it's not always easy. I've never said this was an easy route. And there are still moments where you may feel a trigger. We're human. Moments where you want to react. Moments where old patterns are pulling you back. That's normal. Protecting your energy is not about becoming perfect. It's about becoming conscious. It's about becoming intentional with your attention, your environment, your conversations, your habits, your emotions, your nervous system, and ultimately your identity. Because every single day you're either protecting your peace or you're unconsciously abandoning it. And if there's one thing that I want you to take away from this video, is this: your energy is far too valuable to be giving it away to things that drain you, diminish, distract, or disconnect you from the person that you're becoming. So protect your mind, protect your attention, protect your peace, protect your future. Because that version that you're trying to become, she already moves differently. And the fact that you stayed until the end of this video tells me that you already know that. So genuinely, I'm so proud of you for being here. And if this video helped you, make sure to subscribe, because we're going so much more deeper into self-concept, nervous system healing, manifestation, subconscious rewiring. I love you guys so much, and I will see you on the next one. Bye.